Hi, everyone. I'm Aloy. I'm from Security Bank. I don't talk a lot, but I'll try my best. Yeah. Uh, okay, so I'm here actually to share our journey with our operational data platform using MongoDB. And so I'll share with you our experiences and what we did, through our platform. Um, But the very first is I want to share a slide. So I was a bit 2, 3 weeks ago. I was watching, scrolling Netflix. I saw, oh wow, Star Trek: The Next Generation. No, it's the third time I think I watch it. So I was watching it again, and one of the interesting things that while I was watching it was this line that I got from Captain John Luke, and he said, so he said that we work to better ourselves, like and the rest of humanity. So I think then similarly in everything we do, like in the bank or within security bank. So we really aim to do better with whatever we're doing, and even in anything, right? In personal stuff and etc. So we always aim for something better, and to the benefit of course those who we interact with, like can be your friends and can be your customers. So same. So it's our things that we do as human that we work to better ourselves and then help. So hi again, I'm Aloy. So I'm the platform services in Security Bank. Um, Within Security Bank, so I look after the platform, and platform is normally a horizontal function where we support different verticals in terms of usage of our platforms, and I'm part of the strategy, architecture, and platforms team division, which is actually looking after enterprise architecture in the bank strategy, and yeah, and as I mentioned, the platforms. So I like software, and I'm a technology evangelist. So I'm just very curious on a lot of things, technology and software. So hi, yeah. Okay, then hi again, and we are Security Bank. So maybe I'll just give you a brief, information about Security Bank, and yes. And so Security Bank is, so we have, a vision, so we are very customer-centric, to be the most customer-centric bank in the Philippines. And then, of course, our mission is enrich lives, empower business. But the most important, I think, one of the most important here is, financial service excellence. All of these things that we do rolls up to this, financial services excellence. We owe this to, of course, our customers, giving them, the best that we can offer them. Plus, now, jumping into the values, which is where the talk and discussion is going to revolve around is, of course, innovation. So customer-centric, innovation, and financial service excellence. So I think put them all together, and then I think you get something very good out of it. So just very quickly, so we have retail banking, wholesale, business banking, and I think one of the things that are the focus of IT now is really on digital transformation for Security Bank. So, and for Security Bank, we actually aspire to be, well, the number one technology-driven financial institution in the Philippines. So we really uh, like technology, and we don't fear playing with it or using it or doing things with it. Like in the 20,000 years ago, right? Like when the fire was created, the people are afraid of it, but eventually they kind of like it, and they did a lot of things with it. So, but anyway, so given that, so we are technology driven, and I just wanted to share that what I'm going to share with you later, the operational data platform. Just I just wanted to share that we actually won a couple of awards 2024 this year. So the Technology Excellence Award, which is across Asia, and then we also won the Technology Innovation of the Year Award for bronze in the Stevie Awards for Technology Excellence. So that's for operational data platform, and I'll talk more about it in the succeeding slides. All right. Uh, so, and at Security Bank, so we are actually building solid, better platforms that supports better apps, in providing better banking experience to our customers. So our thinking is when you have a very solid platform, you can build solid, better apps on top of it, and better apps on top of it gets to the customer. So important is, foundations. So for us, we focus on the platform, the foundation, move upwards to apps, and then move to the, how this will be used by our customers. So, and yeah, so, and I think what I'm discussing about today is the platform. Yeah, so that's platform engineering security bank. So we have a platform engineering group also that looks after engineering activities across these platforms. Okay. Now, going to operational data platform. So, operational data platform is actually it's a building block to stream data from from what you have in on-premise and then move it closer to the apps. So it's more of like real-time data streaming, wherein you start from the bottom for the core and then you move data all the way closer to the channels. And then it gives your channels now near real-time experiences because, data is much more closer to those who are consuming it. Okay. So what does it look like for us? So, so in Security Bank, so we do have, at the bottom is record, and then we got a customer. And normally, as part of the platform within the bank, so we look after, enterprise API platform, which, looks after how you expose all of this to the consumer apps. So this is now gives you, it's like connecting all of these solutions that are, not related, and then giving it a holistic experience to the apps. Now you can access information also through the API, or even send information down to the system of records. But of course, what I want to talk about today is, the enterprise data streaming platform, which is, data and data in motion. So similarly, it's like, getting from your system of record, streaming it to data, and then streaming it to the apps, and then etc. So now, what we wanted to do is, we want to get data as close and as reachable to the customer for better experiences. So imagine, if your data is just right beside you, easy, right? You can just grab it and, you have it with you. Or, what do you want? You want to go far and then get it? Or you just right beside you, get it, and then, so it's better experience. Okay. And so this is actually, I'll talk more, which is the operational data platform. This is the bottom, integrates multiple data sources, making it available to subscribers. The system of engagement is the one at the top, which interacts with the customers or the users of channels. Okay. So, now, I quite remember that this is arrows. So just imagine these are arrows. Maybe there's a, there's a glitch on the deck. But these are arrows where from left to right. So what we do is, we capture the data, and then we stream the data, and then we curate the data, and then we persist the data. So it's like a flow, right? Yeah, it should have been an arrow, but that's the flow that we are referring here. So ODP, just captures data, stream it, curate it, and then persist it. So much of what we do on this flow is, for CDC is, for capture. So there is, technologies out there that does CDC, which is what you call as, change data capture. And you can, it's the one who captures data. Then, of course, streaming platform is, we're running on Kafka and Kafka. So we're streaming data down. Now, from our experience, if you have systems that are like 10 years old, systems that are like 15 years old, systems like at 20 years old, sometimes, at the time they were made, maybe the fields are like, I don't know, letter A, but no one knows what A is. Like maybe the guy who thought about it 20 years ago know what A is, but really our experience is that we see that, it's different. Everything is named different. So that's why we also tend to curate them. So when you say curate, we look at this data, make them like more understandable to who will consume them. So if it's a, maybe right now we call it as customer name or something. So it's more easier to digest in terms of information. And then we persist. So on this is, our stack. So we use MongoDB. So on some of the curates, and then we also on the persist. And then eventually we get the consumer, like from the diagram, right? So they now consume this data from that side, which is already, a curated information that are very understandable for anyone who can use it. It's now easy, right? So if you know what that is, easily you can just read it, and now you can tell yourself, oh, I can use this. So data. All right. Then, so our journey. So maybe just very quickly, when we were kind of designing and building this, is started with a vision. We did the platform setup, stream ingestion, publishing, and then capability build channel enablement. But back then, when we started on the vision, so it was really digital SBC vision. So, and a lot of it really came to really business requirements, customer understanding. So, there are tons and tons of data in a bank. If you're in a bank, I don't know, it's like tons. So the first point of reference there is, which one of these do you stream? Which one of these do you, move, etc. So that happened to us when we were, talking to what structure of data are we gonna move from left to right. So, the business requirements came in there, and then also, customer understanding. So meaning we are internal group. Our customers are twofold. So our customer can be, other business units, or it can be the customer of the customer, which is their customer. So customer understanding starts with, which vertical needs this data and what do we stream first. Then, of course, when we went to more like the platform setup, so we do technology selection. So, I identify and select, technology vendors that would support this kind of flow that we need for data streaming, real-time data streaming. So technology acquisition, so as you know, so we've been using MongoDB from day one, and we're quite happy with it, and we're gonna do a lot of things with it. Technology setup, establish a baseline infrastructure. So what do we need to get started with? That's pretty straightforward. So the platform setup. Well, once we have that, so the next step, is source data identification, which I mentioned earlier. So ano bang data, or what kind of data do we want to flow? So identify critical source systems. Stream ingestion is, design and implement the pipelines. So when you have those data, now design the pipelines that it will go through, and then, the curation, the aggregation, etc. Stream publishing, design, implement data publishing. Now, part of this, when we were building it, just to share, is, we did also some accelerators, some streaming pipelines, best practices that we have used and incorporated into our experience. Customer data template, and then yung account data template. So there are also a lot of, standards out there that, each industry tends to follow, like, in banking, I think there's buy-in, different types of structure that can be followed on how you structure your data. So, yeah. So templates are helpful. You don't have to start from zero. Think about how it will look like. Just, refer those best practice template. Then capability build, training, design, delivery, and then channel enablement. So it's validate the channel requirements. So this was our journey. It's been running, I think, a year now, more or less. So maybe let's talk about more. I've been talking about our platform in general, but how are we using MongoDB Atlas in this platform that we have? So ODP and MongoDB. Okay. So one of key things that, when we started this was, since it's, it captures and then it flows, stream, curate, and persist. So, we just observe actually when I was talking to the team, like in one collection, so we have around 1.5 billion documents stored there in our system, and continuously growing. And And it is only one collection. No? I think we are talking about multiple collections having this size of data, and I think it's pretty it's performing. So given this amount of data that we flow on a daily basis. Um, so for us, for ODP, I think. Oops, sorry. So one is yung developer tools. So I think when we started using MongoDB, so we've actually been using a lot yung CLI. So I think the team is here. And then so Mongo Atlas CLI for creating, adding users, the Mongo Shell and Mongo Compass. So I think this is I think on the earlier keynote, I think they said easy and developer friendly, and I think I can say that it is really developer friendly, especially if you like yung mga CLI, so especially those are very savvy on CLI, so it's very useful. So sometimes when we do have something to check on the system, like something happened or etc., and then I don't know, the guys there will just type something, and then we find out where problem is, and it's very useful, especially when you're already operating real-time data 24/7, and a lot of customers depend on it. So this kind of tools are very useful especially for those who are maintaining platforms. So the other one is the MongoDB Kafka connector. So I think earlier I shared with you our flow from capture, stream, and then persistent data. So we've been using both the sync and the source connectors to flow data into Mongo, which is using the sync connector, and source connector when we are done with, I'll talk about the aggregation, etc. So once we're done with that, we're going to flow back the data again to a topic, and then that topic, the app consumer will now, get the data that's already curated. So both. So it's pretty handy that we're using this to connect. The other one is Atlas triggers. So I think Atlas triggers, so we've been using for let's say joins and etc. So we do have situations where we have, let's say, around eight events that we monitor, for example, and then when one of those events trigger, we run some business logic around them, either combine or join them or etc. So we do have those complex triggers, and we found Atlas triggers to be very useful in these kind of situations. Similarly, so we also use the aggregation feature for MongoDB. Same purpose as how we use the Atlas triggers. So then Atlas search, we've been using also this feature for troubleshooting and using also the platform. Data federation. So this is a feature that we also through the platform. So as you notice, so we've been growing our data a lot. So 1.5 billions and billions of data. So at some point, we had to explore, how to manage this continuously growing data. And I think data federation feature, working with the Mongo team, we were able to move data, carve out data out of our cluster, but still, queryable and still can be used through tools. So we've been using data federation also. Performance management. So this is I think earlier, right? So one of the I think 4 themes of the keynote is performance. So I think we've seen it, and I think one of the cool things that we've used here is some performance advisor, right? So it will tell you, okay, the way you're using your system, you should add this index or something, or you should index this, you should index that. And I think it's very useful. I think the team just use it, consulted with the experts, and then we applied it. Same with Schema Advisor. Now, one of the things also I like here is the auto-scaling. So I think we're operating, dev environments, the non-prod environments and the prod environments. Now, auto-scaling for me is very, important. So if you don't use it, whenever I see an email, let's say M80 going M60, so wow, I'm okay, good, happy. But when M60 go to M80, I normally ask the group, okay, why is it, why did it go up? Okay, so that's a very useful feature also if you're managing your cluster and the cost. And then of course, yes, security by default that we also look at for the platform. So these are actually some of the features, but there are a lot of other features that are there, and I think we're continuing to explore it. So, okay. So the future for us. Um, so, for us, of course, is our customers are still our North Star. So this is actually why, the big reason why we build this is for our customers and also for us. We work to better ourselves and also for our customers. So in 2025, so, we have just started. So the platform is very young. I think about a year or less, or maybe a year or less, yeah, something. So, but it's really, we find a lot of value in it, supporting a lot, as I said, foundation, apps on top, and then the customer. So we find a lot of value of building a very solid platform, and then building on top of it, and then etc. So, but we're continuing to learn. Like I said, new. We're like, I don't know, me, I'm a newbie. I'll learn a lot this 2025. And then, as I said, more apps and more consumers of data for our platform. Now, one of the, expand and explore more features of MongoDB. There are a lot. I think earlier when I was listening, the Gen AI, all of those, now that you have everything in place, for example, you have a fully working end-to-end, and now it's there, it's easy, to look what other features you can use to support your goals. But, of course, you have to remember one thing. I put it on the bottom. So you manage the costs and operate efficiently. So in our experience, you're going to get to a point that, okay, yeah, wow, you're super happy with everything that's happening. But at some point, of course, you have to operate it, like I said, efficiently. So you have to find where, you can, space. As I was telling the data federation, move data out so that, the space you don't use is not too big. So, but it's all part of, when you, I guess for me, it's all part of maturing. Like you start with this, get it running, and then when you're running it now, you do the maintenance and etc. And then keep it keep it solid. Yeah. So that's what we've been doing. And thank you. Yes.